Deadbolt Sports here with your college football Deadbolt Daily. Uh, Coming off a pretty rough last weekend, I had to go back and kind of see what happened. We've made some adjustments. We have one of our power rankings that was a little off, that was putting us on some games we shouldn't have been on. So we've made those adjustments. We are looking forward to a much better weekend. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We had Tulane last night. Started out kind of like we thought. Houston hasn't played a game all year. Came out slow. They got it corrected a lot quicker than we thought they would. And Tulane basically just quit playing. They're up 24-7, and they get outscored 42-7 the rest of the game. So that one did not come through for us. But anyway, we'll go ahead and jump right into tonight's game. We've got Louisville and Georgia Tech. We're going to back Louisville here. We've got them in about a 2-touchdown favorite. Last line I looked at this morning was Louisville -5, so we're going to back Louisville in the game tonight. Jumping into Saturday, we've got quite a few games here, so I'll probably stop along the way, maybe giving you an opinion or so on some that we called. Like I said, I'm trying to get these plays down a little bit, make sure we're giving you the best of the best here. So first game up, we're going to take Vanderbilt at home, getting 13.5 against South Carolina. Go ahead and get 14 here. I think you'll be able to get 14. I don't see this line going down. If you have to buy the half point, that 14 is going to be, again, some more of those hot numbers that we always talk about. So be sure and try to get 14 here with Vanderbilt against South Carolina. Red River Rivalry, I'm going to say that right. Texas and OU. Like Texas in this one. We think they're about a 3-point favorite here. Should be. They're actually getting 2 points last we checked. So we're going to take Texas to get the outright win here against Oklahoma. Next up is going to be Virginia Tech and North Carolina. We're going to take Virginia Tech here. We got all their players back. I had 20 some odd players out last week in a game that they still just about covered in. UNC again keeps winning, but not very impressively. I think Virginia Tech will be a good test for them. We've got this at basically a pick'em game. Right now we're getting 4, so we're going to take Virginia Tech here plus the points against North Carolina. ULM Liberty, a little kind of off the radar game here. We're going to take ULM getting 19. We've got this closer to a 2-touchdown game, so getting a little value here with ULM. So we'll take them plus the 19. Next up, we've got UVA, North Carolina State. North Carolina State coming off a win at Pittsburgh, which we had Pittsburgh last week. If you've been following us, I'm sure you knew. Very poor performance from Pittsburgh. This is the same North Carolina State team that got beat up pretty bad at Virginia Tech. Virginia played a pretty competitive game with Clemson. I think Virginia is definitely probably the second best team in the ACC. I don't think North Carolina State is going to be able to stay up with UVA in this one. We've got UVA at about a 2-touchdown favorite. Line is 7.5. Try to get that at 7 if you can. If you have to buy the half, try to get UVA down to 7. But we're going to take Virginia in that one. Next up, we've got. I've had a couple of games canceled on ULL, Coastal Carolina was canceled. Next game up is going to be UTSA and BYU. BYU, really, really good football team. Really taking care of business, but we're going to back UTSA in this one. Getting 35. Be sure to get at least 35. This is probably going to go up. I think people are going to run this up on Saturday more than likely. But try to go ahead and get that 35 with UTSA. I think BYU's got a game with Houston next week. Not to say they're going to be looking ahead, but very likely they could, if they get a big lead here, they're going to try to rest some folks ahead of that game with Houston next week. So we're going to take UTSA plus the massive 35 points here. A little run of SEC games. We got quite a few of those in here today. We're going to go with Tennessee plus 12.5 against Georgia. Is Tennessee back? I don't know. We're going to find out this weekend. They seem to be getting a lot closer to being back. Um, we'll see who the second best team in the East is here this weekend. I think Florida's also in the mix there. But we're going to take Tennessee plus the points against Georgia. Next up, Florida, Texas A&M. Speaking of Florida, we're going to take Texas A&M at home plus the 7. Again, be sure and get that 7. That could come into play. Could be in the difference between a push and a loss here. So grab that 7. We like Texas A&M. We see this is about a field goal game. Texas A&M got beat up on. They had some turnovers. Things kind of got away from them last week against Alabama. We had Texas A&M. Really should have probably been in that game a little more than they were. On the road, just kind of got away from them. But they're back at home. Florida's defense it's just not good. I think Texas A&M will be able to put up some points here. Obviously, Florida will be able to put up some points, but I think Texas A&M will be able to play enough defense and get enough points on the board here to at least get under the number, if not get the outright win here. Still not convinced that Florida always seems to start out hot, always seems to lay a couple eggs along the road during the season. So this looks like it could be one of them. So we'll take Texas A&M at home. Next up, again, another SEC game, Auburn, Arkansas. Arkansas coming off the big upset win at Mississippi State last week. Auburn getting absolutely throttled by Georgia last week. Looking for Auburn to bounce back here at home. Giving 13.5. Again, try to keep this under 14 if you can against Arkansas. Against the Mike Leach offense, Arkansas was able to make some stops. They couldn't really get into click. That's the thing about that offense. It's either clicking or it's not. And obviously it was not. It was against LSU. It was not last week. But they'll be coming up on the board here in a minute. But we'll take Auburn to bounce back. Obviously the better team. We've got them at about a 24-point favorite. We're laying less than 2 touchdowns here. So we'll and a lot of this line is been adjusted drastically based on last week's results. So we'll take advantage of that and take Auburn here minus the points. Let's see. FAU Southern Miss is canceled. A couple of leans real quick. MTSU against FIU. Again, these are not official plays, but MTSU, if you want a little something to play there. BC at home against Pitt. We got a little lean there. Again, not an official play. Again, like I said, we had a bunch of SEC games this week for whatever reason. We've got Ole Miss at home against Alabama. We'll take Ole Miss plus the 23.5. Again, try to get that 24. I think this line may come down. So, again, the hurricane made landfall last night. It's going to be rolling through. The rain should be out by game time, but again, field could be wet, could be a little sloppy. I think this line may come down. So if you can get a chance to grab the 24, grab the 24. We've got this closer to a 17-point game, so getting an extra touchdown here. So we'll take Ole Miss at home against Alabama. I think they'll be able to score some points. And anytime you got an underdog getting 24 that can actually score some points, we'll take that every time. Now they're not going to be able to stop anybody. This could be a 51 to 31 type game here. But again, I will think they'll get under the number of 24. Next up, Navy against Temple. We'll take Navy at home. This will be Temple's first game. They've obviously had time to prepare for the triple option, but even preparing, they still got to get out there and stop it. So we like Navy at home, getting 3.5 to get the outright win here. Don't think they'll need the 3.5, but coming off kind of a throttling at Air Force. We had Air Force last week, but I think they'll bounce back here and a different level of competition with Temple. I think they'll get the win here. Next up, Mississippi State and Kentucky. We'll take Mississippi State here, getting 2 on the road. We've actually got Mississippi State as a 3-point favorite, so we will, again, adjustment from last week, them losing at home to Arkansas. We'll take advantage of that. and take Mississippi State plus the 2. I think they'll get the outright win here. Again, I think they'll be able to put up some points. Their defense, Kentucky is not. We saw that against a very bad Ole Miss defense last week. They put up some points, but just didn't go crazy. So I think Mississippi State, with a much better defense here, will be able to get the win on the road at Kentucky. Next up, another big one this weekend: Miami and Clemson. Miami, we'll take Miami, getting 14. We've got this closer to a touchdown game. Miami's been playing really good football this year. We think they'll be able to challenge Clemson here. And, obviously, I don't think they'll get the win, but should be able to be a decent challenge for them and be able to stay within the 2 touchdowns. Again, be sure you're getting at least 14 here with Miami. Next up, I think this is the last one of the day here. Notre Dame, Florida State. I know you think you're crazy, but we're going to back Florida State here. Notre Dame, historically, against these teams, they should, these name brand teams, at least I should say, that they should blow out. They, for whatever reason, they tend to just play sloppy, play down to their competition. So we're going to back Florida State here, getting 21 against Notre Dame. They struggled early against Jacksonville State. I think they just thought they could show up and win that game. They knew they had Notre Dame coming up, but it seemed, from going back and watching a little bit of that, they seemed to kind of get it together, seemed to maybe be moving in the right direction, and getting 3 touchdowns. We will take our chances here and take Florida State plus the points. Louisiana State and Missouri got moved. We were going to be on Missouri. I don't like games that where you've got venue changes, things like that. I know you think, well, they moved to Missouri, so you ought to be on them, but we're going to go ahead and stay off that game. But we do have a lean to Missouri there, but going to stay off that one. That's going to be it for the college football Deadbolt Daily. Be sure and check out the NFL Deadbolt Daily. It'll be coming up a little bit later on today. That is all for now. We will talk to y'all again soon. Thanks.